Great, so let's now talk about the specifications. Hopefully you've been able to download and get copies of them, and maybe you've got them in your folders and you're all organised and ready to rock and roll. Because if we have organisation, that allows for clarity and it just is a great time saver. So just be aware, you need to check out the name of your exam boards. Is it AQA or is it OCR, Edexcel, or even maybe Educas, which is the new name for the Welsh examination board? Check the exam board out. So once you've downloaded your specifications, what I want to do now is I'm going to give you a very quick guided tour. It can seem quite overwhelming having all this documentation. So let's get straight on with it and let's just now have a quick look and a quick introduction to how we can use this documentation. Let's have a look at a specification now. Now remember, the numbers I'm going to show you are not necessarily going to tally with your son or daughters. They will have to check their exam board and their own specification numbers. So what I want to do is just start with art. So let me give you an example. My son is going to be doing art, a fine art course. His examination board is OCR and his specification number is J171. Now I have this information, I can then turn to the specification for the GCSE levels 9 to 1. So here we have it. So the first thing I suggest you do is just familiarise yourself with the contents. And what you're looking for is the pages that refer to your specification number. So as you can see here, we've got art and design for these specification numbers. He's not doing that. His is J171, so I know these pages are irrelevant. I know this is irrelevant because he's not doing combined titles, he's not doing graphic communication or photography or textile design or any of these. So what would be a good idea is highlighting the pages that are relevant. So here we go. I know I'm going to need to turn to page 14 to check out his specification guidelines for fine art for this particular exam. So that's the first thing I suggest you do. Just go through and highlight the pages that are relevant to you. So let's have a look at another subject. Another subject my son is going to be doing is economics. So again, I'm checking my examination board. In this case, he's doing OCR, and for the specific exam he's doing, here is his specification number. Remember, yours will be different depending on your examination board and the subject that you're taking. So it is this that you really need to check out and make sure you have got accurately. So I know he's J205. So again, I'm going to turn to his GCSE specification guide here for economics. And again, the first thing I'm going to do is go through the contents, highlighting all the pages that are relevant for J205. So familiarise yourself with the content sheet. What's very useful about this documentation is that it gives you very kind of brief and abbreviated guidelines which are easy for you to skim. So for example, you've got two sections here that are highlighting what is new in this particular exam. So it tells you what stays the same and what's changed this year. So that's quite a good guideline for you to see if there's any difference. So we can see here now this exam, the assessment it's changed in the way that the assessment consists of now 2 exams and they're both 90 minutes each, where previously that was not the case. Also, what they're very good at is giving you website addresses for reference to help you find more information and to give you more guidelines. This is a fabulous page for parents because if you're not sure when your son's exams are or what they look like, this overview is really helpful. And straight away I can see from his economics exam, he's got one exam here and another one here. So here we go, it gives us our content overview. This is what I know he's going to be covering in the exam. And here it tells me how many marks it's worth, how long, and what type of paper it is. And in this case, it's a written one. And what's very helpful is it lets me that 50% of his marks will go towards the total of his GCSE result for that specific exam. Now I also can see his second exam for economics. Here's the content overview. Again, it's worth 80 marks. It's a 1 hour and 30-minute paper, and again, it's a written one. And this one is also of the value of 50% of the overall total score. So this is very good reference guide for you. Now, the kind of things that are extremely useful in these documents is something like this. Now, I'm going to be spending another post explaining in more detail about this, but command words are something that we need to make sure our sons and daughters understand these, because these will vary in different exams. So, for example, the command words are explain, analyse, evaluate, draw, calculate. And it is this understanding that will help them achieve higher scores, because if they know how to evaluate and analyse and calculate, they get a great idea of what the examiner is looking for and how to answer the question to get those high points. So we will come back to this later on, and I'll do that in more detail. So if we turn over the page, now what is brilliant about this is over these pages, and I think actually it's about, let me just have a quick flick through. I think it's 6 pages. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 6 pages cover all the topics he needs to know for his economics exam. So if I look here, the first topic here is main economic groups and factors of production. That's what he needs to be able to understand. Now, if we slide across here, it tells us what learners should be able to. And what's brilliant about this is they've highlighted for us in bold the key words: consumers, producers, government, factors of production. It's absolutely key that they understand this terminology. So what am I going to do with this information? Well, I'm going to look for that information in his school textbook, which is here. And if I open it up on the contents page, I should be able to see the main, oh look, straight away at the top, main economic groups and factors of production, which is identical to the topic he needs to know for the exam. So I'm going to turn to that page, and here we have straight away, they've put in a different colour for us, consumers, producers and government. And if I want more information, I've got consumers here, giving me 3 paragraphs to scan or read, and if I go over, I've got a small paragraph from producers and the government. So what I could actually do is just quickly read these couple of pages, and then just in a discussion with him, I can question him and discuss this language. Does he understand and know what consumers are? What are the roles the producers and the government have within regards these economic groups? So there we go. That is just a little start for you to catch a glimpse. So what I suggest you do now is you just familiarise yourselves with the overview and just get yourselves to flick through. Just scan it for now, and what we'll do at a later date is we will talk about this in more detail. So I'm really hoping that that very quick introduction to the specification guides has helped you think actually it's not too overwhelming or onerous. In actual fact, they are really very user-friendly, and the layout is very concise and clear. So all you need to do now is just get started by familiarising yourself with them. That's the first step. And of course, don't forget, if you have any questions at all, whether you have any confusion around where to access these materials, what examination board, or where to find the specification number, or anything at all, just post your questions and I will do my absolute best to track down the answers for you. But of course, with other parents in this group, they may very well be using the same board as you and the same exams as your son and daughter. And if they've already downloaded the specifications, maybe they can shunt them to you in an email. As a group, we can work together, we can help and support each other to make sure that our children absolutely reach their potential in this year. So guys, enjoy and I'll speak to you soon.